Hey everybody, I'm back this week to talk about vibrato. Let's talk about vibrato. And a little side note, I think I'm gonna have that be a series. Let's talk about. It may or may not replace the tips, tricks, and licks. I think let's talk about fill-in topic is more all-encompassing. So not as limiting in. We'll just see how it goes moving forward. Hey, moving forward. Anyhow, vibrato, I'm here to talk about it because it was requested. And me, like most players, it's a work in progress. Throughout our playing lives, we're always working on it. Off the bat, I would suggest listening to your favorite players, trying to emulate them. And find your inspiration wherever you can or need to. Other instruments and singers even is a good source. But the technique itself, there are a few different kinds. The wrist as a fulcrum point is the first one I can think of, and probably the most popular, or most used anyway. And that is, wrap that thumb around the neck, and you use the wrist and forearm to go back and forth to vibrate the note instead of the fingers. And depending on what you're going for, your technique will usually gravitate or shape itself in whatever direction you're using or hearing. So, try to use your ears, but if you want to practice something like that, you can practice it to a beat. Turn on your metronome. I don't have one handy right now, but if the tempo was something like 1, 2, 3, 4, eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and you can hear with this technique the pitch is only going up. So if that's the pitch, you're only moving it up and back, up and back. So just, food for thought, because we'll get into some other ways where you can use both sides of the pitch. So you could practice with your subdivisions of the beat, depending on whatever song or you're playing to or over. If you want a faster 16th notes against that 1 and 2, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. There you go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. You can make the vibrato wider, faster, whatever have you. Play around with the different kinds. I am myself try to avoid that nervous, shaky kind of vibrato because I'm not a big fan of how it sounds. And I think, in my opinion, most of that comes from lack of control. So just practicing this stuff will be a step in the right direction regarding control. Let's talk about another technique that I've seen players employ, and I like to do so myself, is just hanging that thumb off the back of the neck, or not wrapping it around the top of the neck, and kind of using that technique to pull down on the string. You can do this sort of classical move, which I've seen George Lynch do a lot. Involves quickly sliding the wrist back and forth. You're going to have to remove that thumb from the neck so you can get the freedom to do that. And what's happening there now, here's where you can go above and below the pitch if you wanted to do so. say if I'm targeting that E, I can go below E flat and F really quick. It's wider. It just depends on what you're going for. You can go below the E, and just, you know, now you're going below the pitch, or you can go the other direction. It's almost like a trill, but if you're doing it in context of a vibrato, would be short, you know, quick stabbing sort of thing. So, and that's, you know, something that takes practice, and it's kind of difficult to get used to. You can also stay on the note, and you get that, you know, wiggle your wrist back and forth, or your hand back and forth. Again, no thumb on the back. It's a very subtle type of vibrato. So, then there's the bar. The bar will also allow you to go on both sides of the pitch, depending on how you use it, you know. I guess you could concentrate on one side of the pitch if you wanted to. I don't generally do that. But the bar and that classical technique, those are ways to go on both sides of the pitch. If you use the traditional thumb around the neck, you're only going to go above the pitch and back. And let's talk about vibrato in conjunction with bending. Practice that too. And, you know, like I said, all areas of the fretboard, all fingers, that's what it takes to get used, you know, to develop it how you would like to hear it. And keep that in mind when you're playing with, you know, all techniques, but as it applies to vibrato, since that's what this video is about, how do you want to hear it? Envision that, hear it in your in your head, and go for that. Okay, as it applies to bends, practice, you know, applying the vibrato right away, and more importantly, waiting, you know. To me, that gives a little more dramatic flair when you wait and then apply the vibrato. It doesn't have to be a bend either. You can do that on any note. Right? So, and once you get the bend up to wherever you want it, your target note, and then all the other stuff applies as far as how fast you want to hear it, how wide you want to hear it, all of that stuff. So just playing with the different types of vibrato will get you used to it. It's just like anything else. You got to practice it. And I like doing so over backing tracks like I did at the beginning, and I'm going to play some more at the end. That is Steve Vai's Boston Rain song, I think it is. Why can't I remember that? Anyway, the backing track is a Steve Vai backing track. Boston Rain Melody, sorry. So, I was doing, trying to show the different types of vibrato and that jam that I'm talking about here. So, do that for yourself, and I will see you next week. All right. Peace.